you to do is guess by looking at your egg where the halfway mark is, like halfway through the middle of your egg. If you cut your egg in half horizontally, and then draw a line with your marker right around where you think that halfway mark should be on your egg. And this is what I was afraid was going to happen. My egg is wet, so my marker isn't showing up very well. If your egg is wet, it's really hard to get your marker to show up. So now we're going to find the halfway mark between this line and the bottom of the egg, and we're going to draw another line parallel to that one. So I'll show you what I mean. You're just gonna, we don't have a ruler, we're just using our eyes to kind of figure it out. So halfway between the first line and the bottom, draw another line going across. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time. We're gonna take now this line and the bottom of the egg, and we're gonna figure out where the halfway mark is there and do another line. So I'm guessing it's right about there. So I'm gonna put my line right about there. I'm gonna do this on paper too later. So we'll do it on the egg first, and then we'll do it on paper so you'll really remember. So now I have 3 lines on my egg going horizontally. So I'm going to make a vertical line going from the top of my egg all the way down to the bottom through those lines. So from the top all the way down to the bottom, my wet egg is not going to stop being wet because it's frozen. But I think you can see it. So I put a line right through the middle. So this is kind of a graph or a outline to help us draw our face. So oh, go ahead. What?
Are we going to draw a face on the egg?
We're going to draw a face on the egg, and then we'll do one on paper. This is just our practice face. So this line here, the first one we did, is where the eyes go. Don't draw your eyes yet. Let me draw one and show you. And the line goes right through the eyes. And then there's a space between the 2 eyes that is about the same size as one of the eyes. So I could technically, I don't want you to do this, but I'm just going to do it to show you. See, I drew a 3rd eye right in the middle. So there's about enough space between those 2 eyes for a 3rd eye. That's how close you want your eyes to be when you draw a person. You want them to be about 1 eye width apart. So now we're going to do the nose, and the nose sits right on top of the middle line. So when I do my nose, I'm just going to kind of do the bottom part of the nose for now. So see how my nose is sitting right on top of that middle line? Maybe I'll draw it a little bit more so you can see it better. It's kind of sitting right on top of that middle line. And then for our mouth, the bottom lip of the mouth sits right on top of the bottom line. So I'll show you that too. Oh, this is, I'm just having a rough day. My pen's not cooperating. So see how the bottom lip sits right on top of the bottom line. That is the basic proportion for drawing a face and getting everything in the right spot. Now, often when we look at a head, we don't realize that the eyes are right in the middle. We think they're up higher, but they're not. They're right in the middle. Oh, it looks like Eni is joining us. Hi, Eni. Eni, we're learning to draw a face by using an egg as a model. Do you have an egg and a marker handy? If you don't, that's a paper in just a minute, and you can catch up and just do it on paper with us. So I'm showing you the proportions of the face right now. What about the ears? People often put the ears too high or too low. The ears actually go right between these 2 lines. The line that goes through the eye and the line that the nose sits on, that is where your ear is going to be. And ears are always back farther than we think. So I'm just going to draw an ear, if I can, with my, this egg's a little wet too. But see, my ear should go right about there between those two lines, and it's going to go just about from the top to the bottom. That's where the ear should be. So when you draw a face like this, sometimes you want to draw someone, you're looking down at them, so their face, or someone looking up. If you tilt your egg back, now it looks like the person is looking up, and you can see there's less space now between the eyes and the nose and the mouth. That's called foreshortening. And what if we turn it to the side? It's a little different, isn't it? What if we turn it this way, like 3/4? Then things are a little bit different too. But if you have your egg to look at, it can help you to put everything in the right spot. So that's just kind of a good way to remember the proportions of the face. And now I want you to get a piece of paper, and you can use your Sharpie or you can use a pencil. It's up to you. You might want to use a pencil so you can erase. And we're going to draw an egg shape on our paper and then do the face on paper. Okay? So I'm going to move over here to my easel. And I'm going to make a big egg shape. It's a good way to start a face. This is a good way to start. Do I need to use a fatter pin? Can you see that all right, or should I use a thicker pin? You can see it okay? Maybe I'll just get a little closer. Okay, so we're going to do what we did before. We're going to try to find about the middle, and we're going to use a pencil for this so we can erase it later to do the lines. We're going to try to find the middle of our egg shape and put a line right across the middle. That seems about like the middle to me. Maybe a little high. Close enough. Try to get it as close to the middle of your egg shape as you can. Then we're going to look for the middle again between that line and the bottom of the chin, and do another line about there. Then we're going to look at that line we just drew and the bottom of the chin and do another line about halfway. That's about halfway. So I'm going to do a line right about there. Okay, so we have 3 lines dividing our face. And now we'll do the one right down the middle. Right down the middle. Because we're going to be drawing this person as if they're looking straight at us. Right. So who remembers where the eyes go? Where do the eyes go?
On the top line?
On the top line that we drew, right, and the line goes right through the eyes. So I'm going to make this eye about that big, and then I'm going to leave about that much space between the eyes. Because remember, you want to leave about the distance of the space of one eye between the 2 eyes. That's all I'm going to do for now, is just the shape, just that kind of almond lemon shape. Now I'm going to do my nose. My nose sits on top of this second line. And I'm just going to do 2 little nostrils and then a little thing right there for the nose for now. Because usually when people draw a nose, they don't draw the nose like a carrot. They just kind of draw that part and then they do the rest with shadow, with shading. Maybe we'll do a little bit of that if we have time. All right, and now we're going to do the mouth. So the bottom lip sits right on top. Let's do the bottom lip first. Bottom lip sits right on top of that bottom line. And then you can make the top lip however you want, but the middle of it will be that the vertical line will be going probably right through the middle of the nose and the middle of the mouth. I think I made my mouth a little bit small. All right, so now where do the ears go? Right between these two lines, right? So the ears will go like that. And something that we could not do with our egg is make a neck. So we are going to do a neck. And people, when they draw other people, they often make the neck way too skinny. But there's a way to always make the neck the right size, and that is to start the neck right here where this line meets the edge of the face. The line that goes through the bottom shows us where the mouth goes. That is where the neck goes. So just draw a line straight down from that side and that side. Right where that line meets the edge of the face. That's where your neck should be. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and let you finish your eyes, and then we'll add some hair, some other things, okay? So for the eyes, you might want to, you can do the eyes however you want, but this is how I'm going to do them. I'm going to give them an eyelid, and then I'm going to do a circle that's not a complete circle. It's half hidden behind the eyelid. I'm going to leave a little shine spot in the middle of the pupil. And then maybe do some kind of like a star or little sunflower petals going out from the iris. This is just a real basic, simple drawing of a portrait. And I'm going to give mine some eyebrows. Eyebrows usually start right above the corner of the eye. I'm going to give some eyebrows. You might give yours some eyebrows. And if you want to give your eyes eyelashes, don't do them like this, because that's not really what eyelashes look like. I'm just going to put a few little tiny eyelashes that kind of curve out down here. They kind of curve down and out. Just a few, maybe a few here, but not all over. I'm not going to do this. You just hint at the eyelashes. Just add a little hint of eyelashes. All right, are we ready for the hair? Now you can do whatever kind of hair you want. You could give her a mohawk if you want, or him a mohawk. But I think I'm going to do some kind of hair that's a little bit longer. So let's have her hair start here, and it kind of swoops down almost to her eyebrow. Let's do that first. And down in front of her ear. So this is kind of a shape. Starts here, it goes down, almost touches her eyebrow, and then curves around in front of her ear. That side. And then we'll do the same thing here. It's almost like a big Hershey's Kiss shape, isn't it? Whoop. Those are her bangs. Are you ready for the rest of her hair? Are we going too fast? So the rest of her hair, let's have her part be right there. The rest of her hair can kind of go like this. Or however you want it to look. And then you can erase this line and this line that show where her head is. So after you erase those two lines, you could draw just a few hair lines that show the direction that her hair swoops. I'm going to do this next part in pencil because I'm going to do some shading, and I can't shade with a Sharpie. And hopefully you'll be able to see it. I'll use a charcoal pencil because charcoal pencils are pretty dark. So I think you'll be able to see that. All right, so I'm going to do some shading around the top of her nose. So right here, usually the top of the nose kind of comes down from the eyebrow and curves in like that. And then sometimes maybe let's just shade that part in. Let's do a little shadow like this with your pencil. And then I'm going to take my blending stump. And you could use your finger if you don't have a blending stump. And I'm going to spread some of that shadow around the edges, the outside edges of her nose. Maybe a little bit underneath her nose too. So see, we can do the nose without making really strong, heavy lines. We can make a nose, and we can shape it using just real light pencil marks and shadow rather than doing a big. And if I want to make her nose look a little bit round, I can do that. So rather than do really harsh lines for the nose, I'm going to shade one side of her nose a little bit more than the other. I'm going to shade just about up to that middle line. So it looks like, let's say the light is coming from this side of her face. Let's put a little shadow under her. Let's shade the lips. So I drew my lips really dark, and I can't erase it now, but usually you don't want the lips to be too dark. You want to kind of give the lips a little shadow underneath where the chin is. And maybe a little shadow on the bottom lip, a little more than on the top. Just giving a little shadow to show a chin and a little shade under her mouth. I might put a little shadow on her top eyelid, maybe just a little bit under her eye. Do you guys have blending stumps, or are you just using your finger for this? This is a blending stump. If you have one, they're great. Otherwise, you can use the finger, but it's not quite as good. All right, let's put some shadow under her chin. I'll give you a second, though. I think maybe some of you are catching up still.
So different pencils have different hardness and different softness. I don't know if there's a better way to say that, Julie. But you can also, if you don't have pencils that are harder or softer, you can just take the one pencil you have, and with the amount of pressure you put on your pencil, if you push really hard, of course, it'll make it a hard line. But if you are really light with the pencil, then you can make that really light, so you can blend it.
Thank you for bringing that up, Lori. I should have thought of that your pencils aren't probably going to blend as well as mine, but I had to use a really dark one so you'd be able to see it. But yeah, a charcoal pencil, like I'm using, blends a lot more easily than a regular graphite pencil. So it's a little easier for me to blend probably. So let's do a little shadow under her chin. So if your pencil isn't blending well, just really lightly draw under her chin, go in the direction of her chin. So in that curve, do some light pencil lines under her chin where her chin meets the neck. And then if you can blend, you can blend a shadow under her chin and blend it out, or take your finger and try to smooth it out. So that gives, we're starting to make her look more three-dimensional, like she has form. She's not just flat. She's starting to stand out a little bit. And I might put a little shadow under her bangs too, just a little light pencil mark that follows under her bangs where her bangs meet her face. And then I might blend that too, so it kind of looks like her hair stands out a little bit from her head. Just getting a little more three-dimensional here. What about her ears? I feel like her ears should be a little bit shaded because they're too bright. And we could put a little shadow in her hair. You can put your pencil on the side too to create shadow. And you can, sometimes it's fun to just do one or two strands of hair a little darker. Maybe not the whole head, but just kind of like give her kind of highlights so that there's different values in her hair. So her hair isn't all the same value. It's not all dark or all light. It's dark in some places and light in others. That's kind of a fun thing to do. So I'm going to put some pencil, color in with pencil in a few places, and then leave the rest white. Then I'm gonna just blend that in so that there's some variation in her hair. It's not all the same. There, I think she looks much better now, don't you? I left her head as an egg shape, but maybe you're drawing a specific person and you don't want their head to be quite so round. So you start with the egg shape and you do everything that we did, and then you can go back later and you can go, okay, her chin kind of comes in here, her cheekbones, they kind of come in a little bit, and maybe her chin isn't quite that round. So you can go back and you can change the shape of the face a little bit, but everything else will stay where it is, and you'll still have your proportions correct. See? So it doesn't have to be an egg-shaped head every time, but that's a really good way to start with your portrait. So anyone have any questions?
Oh, yep, go ahead. Can you unmute yourself?
So, could we color them?
Yeah, this is just for you to learn. You can do whatever you want with it, and maybe you want to do another one and change it a little bit. But just always remember that the lines, the first line is halfway from the top to the bottom, and then the second line is halfway from that line to the bottom, and the third line is halfway between those two. So 1, 2, 3, halfway each time, and you could do more of these portraits.